Hey y'all, and good now, whenever and wherever this finds you. Well, Brian's celebration went well last night. Brian did his 21-day fast. We gathered and watched him have his smoothie. Karen showed up from Vermont, and DJelf7 showed up from New York. We had a wonderful time. And then at the end, I'd finished the video that I'd made yesterday about the history of the American Union and the blueprint for a better America. And then when it was over, DJ L7 invited me to do an interview. So I did it. It's 55 minutes long. I'm going to butcher it. I'm going to get started on cutting the video.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? As you know, this is DJelf7, and I have my online active interview series. I have a guest today, and but I'm going to let him introduce himself. Go ahead.
My name is TC Townsend. I'm a retired carpenter. I live in Southern Cal. I am what I call now an apprentice ancestor, and I work on creating joy in the world and positive attitude inside myself. And that's my daily routine, is to be joyful. And I love working on videos. So I've been making a lot of videos recently. I call myself a video butcher.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. So let's take a look. So the thing is that I used to watch the show Magnum PI, and there was a guy named TC in it, and he was like the coolest guy. I mean, what? So but what is TC, right? Yeah. Was it from the show or is it from somewhere else? I don't know.
My name is Thomas Carl. I'm a carpenter. So I was on a job, and there was three of us, and we were all named Tom. So I got tired of being Tom 3, so I said, well, call me TC, and it kind of stuck.
That's cool, man. Yeah. That's cool.
I like it. I used it for the sign off for the Cosmos. Yeah.
That's a cool story, man. I'm going to ask some questions. I'm kind of feeling the vibe of this cosmic interview. The next question is, there's some people that come to this activism thing, and they'll have like a certain like framework. Like, I'm a socialist, I'm a capitalist, I'm a feminist, whatever, right? Do you have any affiliations or guiding like sets of like, I don't know, political thoughts or something like that?
I teach the I don't know. And I believe that if you think you know something, it may be true, but you're stuck with that one thing. But if you stay in the I don't know, which is an open door to the infinite cosmos, that way you keep your mind open and leave it up to me. I get a bologna sandwich. If I leave it to the cosmos, I get a banquet.
Oh, a banquet. Oh, that's cool, man. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. So now the thing is that some people, when they talk about like different things that influence them in life, sometimes people are inspired by a certain person. Is there anybody like that, right? Like, I'd say in my action, you see me quoting Malcolm X a lot, Martin Luther King, and that makes sense because I'm American and come from that tradition, I guess. Also, if you follow, right, someone, would you say that you're following a particular philosophy of theirs or something?
I love all the people you named. I really enjoy their philosophy. However, my life was affected when I was a senior in high school, however old that is. My father told me about a happy company, and his idea was that people wouldn't work for money, they would work for fulfillment. And he wouldn't tell me the particulars because he said I wasn't ready for it. I kind of picked up on it, and so I've spent a lifetime thinking in terms of a happy company, in terms of working for fulfillment rather than money. I was lucky to be a carpenter because it didn't pay much money, but it reeked with fulfillment.
Because you can see the result of your building.
Yes.
I get that.
Yes.
I do get that.
Oh, and the planning, the doing, and the being. And it turned out to, like earlier tonight, Brian was talking about Gandhi taught spinning as a type of meditation. There is something, I called it karmic yoga, but it's when you become the task and you cease to think and you just become what you're doing. And it's like, some people call it the zone. Different people call it different things. There's a beauty of when your mind and your body become one. Okay, so how did that influence me? So I've stayed looking for the happy company. And recently I found a group called Copiosis, and they have a plan for a money-free society. And I thought, oh, that's the happy company. I just hold to that idea that we will someday come to a place where we will be rewarded for the good that we do, not the profit we make for someone else. And that's my hope or my goal.
As a
Stuff.
carpenter, you are. Oh, but you do work for other people as well, right? Yeah, on projects. I could see that in both ways.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I always had a customer. There's always somebody to serve. Although I did run a shop for a few years, I got to be the master of the roost. I did get the feeling of what it's like to create my own reality and have a group of men to support it.
What are you most proud of accomplishing?
I would say that time in the shop when we recycled wood. But I think you were asking me earlier what was in a political sense. The thing I always bring up is in the 80s, when Reagan was president, and it was Morning in America, and everybody was jumping on the bandwagon. Well, I couldn't dig it, so I created a political party called the Rock and Roll Party. It's a party that was a party, and the idea was you're not going to get people interested in politics. It's boring.
Yeah.
So what you do is you get them to party for a particular issue and let them spend their money and have a good time. And then you take part of that money and you give it to good people doing good deeds. But it never went anywhere because it was all smoke and mirrors. And I mean, literally smoke and mirrors.
What happens?
Drugs. Well, rock and roll was sex and drugs and rock and roll. It was 2 years after that I finally stopped. From that time on, I spent my time in recovery, which is recovering your authentic self, which is what got covered up with the drug.
When you said smoke and mirrors, I thought you meant like paid for by the industry. You know what I mean? Because the industry.
No, smoke is marijuana and mirrors.
Yeah, I saw it now. Yeah, mirrors. Yeah.
I mean, it was fun. I was saying at the time, if I'm going to waste my life, let me waste it for a reason.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And it's not a waste. I mean, you heard me tonight say, I don't think there's such a thing as failure.
A lot of people don't believe in the future.
Don't believe in what?
Don't believe in the future.
The future? Take a breath and tell me that you didn't move into the future in that moment. I mean, this is always the future. This is my future, literally. I'm old enough now to remember when we thought about this time. What we're doing right now, this is the future. When I was a young man, I mean, it was like, someday we'll be able to talk to each other face to face. Here we are. You're a treasure.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's go. Yeah. Let's go back to interviewing you, though. Yeah, let's learn a little bit more. So the thing is that, right? What is the most effective thing that you think that activists can do?
Well, it starts with yourself, and you create a positive vibe inside yourself. You get in touch with your own personal power so that you're operating from a place of authenticity. So when you interface with other people, they know that they're dealing with a real person. They can trust you. And then you build connections from that space. The motto's always been with the Rock and Roll Party and now the People's Transformation Party, which I'm doing now, is you change the world by changing yourself. It's like if you smile, people smile back. You change the world.
All right, let's move on to the, what's the next step? Okay, so the thing is that a lot of people join a lot of different organizations and they're looking for change, right? If people join an organization, maybe there's things that are good or bad. What do you think are some of the best practices that you've seen in some of the different organizations that you've been a part of? Activist organizations. I like this term you came up with called show-upness.
Show-upness, yes.
I like that one, yeah.
Well, since I got involved recently, re-involved, I told you about Copiosis because they looked like the happy company, and that's all based on the positive belief. Then I went and I hung out with some people called Awakened Dream Synergy, and their idea was to bring all these entrepreneurs and future thinkers together and have a meeting, and they could discuss what they're doing and just create that energy of the future. And then so most recently, I've been involved with Brian in the American Union, and it's funny. It's like I've kind of given up myself on any hope for this. I call it the experiment, the American experiment. We failed. I say all of us together, but it was set up for failure. And I'm going to say something about voting. When you vote, you're putting somebody ahead of you. You're putting somebody over you. You're creating an aristocracy. And then we wonder why we're where we are. We have to become equal. It's got to be distributive. It's got to be trusted servants, people that we feel like we know and trust. And of course, we're talking about the ponderings of the magical thinker. But I do think in a way that what we think we're creating. So I do believe it's good to think positively and create positive outcomes in your mind.
If I comment on that for a second, okay, if you look at the Middle Ages, right? Yeah, back in those days, people were much more religiously based, and they didn't really put the valuation so much on money. In fact, people who were businessmen were like kind of lower class, because the idea of making profits or money wasn't really supposed to be number one, supposed to be God or whatever, right? So you can see that, right, society will have changes in values, and it is possible for it to progress your way, another way, many ways, right? Yeah? But I'm saying that change is possible, and we've seen evidence of change before. So I know it's a slow process. I know it kind of sucks. Now, when you talk about the American dream being failure, and that's rough for me because I look at the way things are in Korea and I'm like, oh my God, you know what I mean? Like for me, like America is, I was raised in this, so the American experiment for me, and I can see where you say that it's failing, and you're right, because unfortunately, people are just too lazy and distracted. They've been taught to value what the news tells them, but let's be real, right? The commercial interests are really controlling the TV, and I can't blame them. But there's more to life than commercial messages.
So let me give you a positive note. I believe I'm watching the empire. I mean, I've been studying how empires grow and die.
I agree.
And if you look at all the data, we're definitely at the end stage of an empire.
I think the nuke's going to go off.
Well, I don't know about that. I just know that I think we're at the end stage of an empire. And my want is that the people will realize that rather than waiting till the nukes go off, that we wake up and we say, wait a minute, we don't want to be an empire. And we bring our military home and we spend the money building an infrastructure of energy so that we can become producers again and share with the world and become the benevolent, generous nation we promised.
They dropped more bombs in Korea then.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to have any trouble convincing me that the empire is fucked up.
We're going to get invaded? We'll become that weak. What do you think? We could become that weak, though. No, our military's too strong.
What is...
They're making a play right now.
How do we dominate? We dominate militarily and economically, right?
Yeah.
That's what we use to dominate. So the military, I don't know about that, but I know economically we have been riding on this thing of the dollar is the currency of the world. Everybody trades in dollars because it's easy for them. Well, now all these different countries are making new alliances and they're starting to trade in their own currencies and come up with new ways and new strategies, and they're cutting us out.
Yeah, I don't think the U.S. can hold off Russia, China, and what's the other one? There's so much, and with Saudi Arabia, they're trying to fight all of them at the same time. It's what?
See, so that's the end of empire, when you overextend and then you can't cover your bases anymore. I think the American people need to just wake up and say, okay, we can see the writings on the wall that if we don't stop what we're doing, the world is going to come after us.
They're already after us. We have to make it up to them. They're really pissed off.
Yeah. Well,
they're coming for us right now.
Cool.
Aren't they raising the oil prices and Russia's?
Yeah.
I'm not even say they're coming for us, because honestly, we should just, if Russia was playing around in Canada, there's no way U.S. would accept that. There's no way. I can't see that. Can you imagine Russia was funding Canada to go to war with us? There's no way we would accept that.
I'm going to say something else. As an addict, I am an addict, so I understand the process. And I will say I've learned to make it work for me. And however, addicts don't think right. They don't see clearly. I mean, when I was active in an addiction, I remember one time I spent my rent money on drugs that I was going to sell to get more drugs, but I did the drugs anyway. And that made perfect sense to me. And I think that's where we are as a nation. We're spending our rent money buying drugs that we're going to sell, but we're doing the drugs now. We're going to end up without anything.
Yeah, they can't stop themselves. I don't think they can.
They can't. No, they're addicts.
But it's so sad because if we got it together, the people,
yeah,
we could save it. And I don't want to fucking have the fucking whole shit fall apart. That would be ridiculous. Yo, that's blame on us. It's disgusting. I'm sorry. Right. I'm venting. And we get back to the
go for it. Your venting is welcome with me. I believe in all the emotions are relevant. Like they say, if you're not angry, you're not watching. You know, I can feel guilty because of what's happened in my lifetime, but I can also tell you that no, I started the rock and roll party. I protested. I did what I thought you were supposed to do as an American citizen. I stood up to the things that I thought were wrong. I may not have done it in a serious manner. That's just who I am. I mean, I'm a clown. I'm a political cheerleader. I'm not the leader of the pack. I'm just the guy saying, hoorah, yay, let's do it. And like just giving you, someone like you, giving you support. See, that to me is what I do.
That's cool, man.
Is just encourage you and say, way to go, keep going, dude, you're doing it.
You know what they say in New York? They say there's too many artists, not enough fans. So I also am ready to be the fan, you know what I mean? And there's space for all of us in all the different parts of this. There's definitely, you know, space for hoorah people. There's space for people who are critical as well. There's space for the whole rack, you know what I mean? So
right.
Yeah.
It takes all of us. Yeah.
As long as we're willing to show up, that's who I work with. The thing is that, right, people can think whatever they want, but as long as they're willing to keep showing up. Anyways,
well, thank you. Thank you. This is fun. I mean, I enjoy this. I'm getting to talk about me, and there's nothing that my ego enjoys more than talking about me. And
well, it's good for us to share, right, the information, right? Trust the ones that've been with you, not the ones that they give you, you know what I mean? And it's really good to understand. They say, actually, one difference with politics is knowing who to talk to get the job done. So now that I understand you better, now that my viewers understand you better, if we're looking for someone to, you know, have a positive message, we're looking for someone that, you know, also is willing to work with close groups like an American Union, or especially want to get rid of money for some reason, right?
Yeah, well, I got to be honest. I can't work for money.
I'll accept donations, though. Hell yeah, but
well, I mean, if you hit me if they hit me after the fact, then there's nothing I can do about that. That's their reaction. But boy, the idea of thinking I'm going to earn money, I mean, that just screws me up big time. Because then I start thinking, am I doing enough? Am I, you know, is this fair? Am I being fair?
Hey, look, you're doing the best you can, man, and that's all you can do, bro. You know what I mean? Don't.
And then the other thing is I can't work.
I feel you on that.
I can't work for acclaim, for fame, because then I lose my authenticity. I start trying too hard. I start trying to be something I'm not.
Let me tell you my perspective on that, because I'm sorry to jump in so much, yeah?
No, please.
But the thing is that back in the day, I also took that for a long time, right? Yeah, I still have some documentation of some of the work that I did, but a lot of it I just let go because I didn't really care about, like, you know, about that fame stuff. I agreed with that. But the thing that happened later on when I realized that all the fakes were grabbing the fame, and what were they doing with it? You know what I mean? They were screwing everything up, yeah? The thing is that they are actually, right, I think it's actually a responsibility to actually take the credit for that, right, and not allow other people to steal it.
Right.
Right, and not even for your own, because they will misuse and mishandle the resources that are available. And the thing is that, right, and I don't even really, you know, honestly, I've been around this, you've been around the rock and roll thing. So look, it's not, being famous is not all that all the time. You get surrounded by this entourage that has their own thing that they want, a lot of fake-ass people. Come on, you know, like, being a little guy also has its own rewards. I know that I'm living that, look, being the big, and then you're the boss, they got the money, you're always the asshole. What did Mike Tyson say? We're like monkeys. The higher you go in the tree, the more we show our asses. You know what I mean?
Right. So, we're like monkeys in the tree. Yeah. If you look down, all you see is smiling faces, and if you look up, all you see is assholes.
Enjoy the anonymity, but eventually we have to step into the role because if we don't, then other people will.
Right.
And what is the price of if look if there's someone good, yo, then go ahead. But everybody could go down.
I'm spaced right now.
What are you smoking, bro? I love smoking sativas.
I smoke sativa, yeah.
I'm growing my own.
I live in California, so it's cool. You know,
What are you smoking?
Huh?
What are you smoking? Blue Dream.
Well, whatever the guy brings me,
Haze.
I have a deal with this guy, and he just shows up when I call him, and I give him money, and he gives me supply. And like this week or this month or whatever it is, High Face, Blue Dream. I like the Blue Dream.
I've never tried Blue Dream. I've heard so many good things about it. I am eager to try Blue Dream soon. I've heard many good things about it.
But I found out that when I quit getting high, that I have bipolar major depression. And, you know, a lot of people say whatever they want to say, but I know what it feels like. You know, when people say, well, you might want to think, you know, I've thought about it. And when I think about my granddaddy hanging in the garage, I don't want to go there.
Let me tell you what I think is similar to what might be causing it, right? Tell me if you think this is true. Now, the thing is that our body has a reward system, right? Yeah. When food, right? Yeah. Your body wants to say it's satisfied an urge. You get what I mean? When you like have sex, you satisfy an urge and your body says this was good for you. Right. So the thing is, right, when you stop smoking, it's like you're starving yourself because your body's used to that, right? That stimulus saying like, you know, that urge has been fulfilled, but now you're taking it away. So in a way, you're starving. So if you think about when you stop eating, like I'm done with fasting, but you know, after you fast for a while, you go into a low energy state. And, right. Yeah. And I'm not saying like, you know, you can't still be positive person or like understanding, but it can happen where, so that's where I think it happens, man. You know what I mean? Just from a biochemical.
I think for me personally, it's funny. I tell people when I was a young man and I first found out about pot, I thought, man, I just love to sit around and smoke pot all day and just think about shit. You know what I do now? I sit around all day and smoke pot and think about shit.
That's cool, man. Live your life, man. I mean, in the end,
the coffee is the only thing I don't like. So I may look into microdosing.
But what I really like about you is that you don't just talk about it, you actually do it. You're actually doing, making a lot of videos, staying positive.
Yeah.
I mean, so.
Oh, yeah. I mean, God, you know what it is? It's the dopamine, you know, the brain chemical.
Because you're like making things. You're a carpenter. And making the videos is cool. And you get to see it at the end.
So much of this is just like, when I work on the butchering, it's like you click, drag, click. I mean, when I created the shop where we recycle wood, what I did was I made lists and I made drawings, and then I made lists that went with them. In the computer there was a lot of you click, you drag, and it's like the motions are the same, you know, and it's just knowing that if you do this is going to happen, and it does, and then it feels great, and then you're all happy. Or I'm all happy.
You're a creative person. That's good.
Yeah, I'm glad I found it because, see, what happened was I went to a back surgeon because I thought my back was what was hurting me because it hurts, and then I found out it was my hips, so I got both my hips replaced, and then. But when I went to see the back surgeon, I said, well, what about my back? And the back surgeon said, you just have to live with it.
Yeah, I don't think we can replace the back like that.
And I said, wow. So what I found out, against all good advice, that says you should exercise and stay busy and you should do this and you should do that, I found out that if I sit still, my back don't hurt. So I've trained myself to not grab for stuff, not try to help. I mean, all these things were so natural to me. You know, if I see something on the ground, I pick it up. Well, I had to train myself, leave it. Let it go. Let it be. Your turn is over. Sit still. Be here now. It just turned out. And then when I found out about videos, and it started out, I just wanted to get a snippet from a video. And now look where I am.
Hey man, you've done a lot of work, man. I respect that, yeah? What's your take on the current situation now?
Well, I think we covered a lot of it in the sense that I do believe that we're in an empire in decline. and that how it's going to come down, I don't know. But I see it that everything they try to do is a step backwards. They're just getting in deep, like they're in quicksand, and the more they struggle, the deeper they sink.
Open insider trading. Nobody's doing anything. It's like ridiculous.
Right. Well,
like they don't even try to cover it up. It's like we're just doing.
Okay. When you get into specific issues,
fair enough. Yeah.
I think that when you say they're not doing anything about insider trading, I think what's going to happen is when we lose the currency, our currency is the currency of the world, that stock market's just not going to be so valuable to them anymore. Maybe. I don't know. See, I don't know how it's going to happen. I just know that this shit can't work.
For real, right? That's true.
It can't go on much longer.
Hey, look, you're super cool, man. Yeah, I want to share you with the rest of my audience. You got a website, you got like YouTube. I know you're making videos. Share what's your social media stuff like that?
Well, I'm not on social media, but I can tell you that my work is at Pontification by TC.
Okay, cool. No spaces, right?
I want to get to where the link is that says exactly. Okay, here's the link to my site. Now, whenever and wherever this finds you.
I got you. I seen you. Yeah, I'm sharing my screen right now. State of the Empire, a little too soon to say. I see a couple of your videos here. Cool. Okay. Oh, yeah. Cool. There's a Vega. Cool, man. Okay, you reposted that.
Yeah. That's the second guy I was talking about. The young people that I see that have their shit going on. I mean, it's like.
Oh, you're a Tulsi fan?
No.
Okay. Were you a Tulsi fan before? Or are you just covering the issue?
Yes. And
I was also. Yeah, I was also.
Here's what happened. I saw Tulsi say, the greatest gift we can give to each other is our time. Okay. And I totally related to that. So I put it in a video because I wanted to set the tone for what I want to say to you about appreciation is the greatest thing you can give me is your time to watch these videos. And I want to tell you, thank you so much. But then I went and watched her video and she's Trump light. She's gone over. And, my friend explained it to me, and I think it's true that she just wants to be on the side she thinks is going to win. But she's totally she likes DeSantis. She just said a lot of things that I don't agree with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she went a little some of the things I was like, what? But, I still respect her work in fighting the wars and stuff like that. But once again, she's not talking about Africa or Asia. Well, that is what it is, yeah. But anyways, that's, sorry to give that moment, yeah? Hey, look, anyways, now that people have Pontification by DC, I just shared it on the screen right here. I'll put the link in the comments or something, I'm sure. Now, what's your plans for the future, man? Now that people have your information, what's coming up next? You got a new project coming up? I know you're going to keep making videos. What's on the burner right? It happens, yeah? What's coming out next?
My goal would be to stay humble, keep my focus on being authentic and not get into this thing, oh, goody. I mean, because I love it that I like attention. I'll admit it. I love attention. I can't make that what I'm about. What is my future? My future is I want to get Brian to take and keep moving forward with this blueprint as a way for us to get the idea that we're the people and we can create the legislation and put pressure on the politicians to move it, or we move them. Yeah, I was watching back a couple years ago. I was watching about this the digital minister of Taiwan and how they're doing everything electronically and they're going digital. And so they said, well, how did you get in government? And she said, we just walked in and we sat down and we stayed here and said, we ain't leaving.
Sometimes that's what works.
And so now she's in charge of what they try to do is they try to get the people, what most people agree on most of the time. What most of the people agree on most of the time. And they're trying to find that out and then find ways to incorporate that into their society. And it's like Estonia is the same way. They're totally digital. And I think that I would love to be able to vote digitally.
Yeah, we can use credit cards. You know, I mean, they can correctly identify that to a person. I mean, I would
Oh
think
man,
that,
they
they
know.
might be able to do this, right? Yeah. They're tracking us
There's so
all on
many
Facebook. Come
places.
on. Yeah.
There's so many places I go and they say, "Oh, hey Thomas," or "Hey TC."
Yeah, if they
It's like
wanted to do it, they totally could do it. It's just they
no
actually
shit.
don't want to do it for real.
Right? No, they don't want to do it because
Bullshit.
they don't want us to have the power.
It's ridiculous.
And
It's a sham, and it's a shame. It's ridiculous. It's actually an indictment of the 99% that the 1% are able to pull this off. It's really sad. It's really ridiculous. I
it
mean, I'm not
is.
saying that they don't deserve. Some people, right? Yeah, they're excellent performers. Sure, take some more, but not like that. Holy, what the? This is too much.
Well, now one of the things is, well, there's two things I'm thinking of. One is people like the excitement of the fight. They
Yeah.
like right. They like that adrenaline. So there are people that just fight to fight. But the other thing, I think people are watching the news and stuff. They don't realize that what's happening is they're getting the truth. And like I said earlier, they tweak it just enough so that you get confused and you're not sure, did they say that or didn't they say it? And then the next thing you know, you have an issue that people can fight about. And people don't realize that they're being led into that every day, every hour of every day.
We got to do better. Yo, I feel like I'm in my 40s. What about you're like a little bit older, right? Yeah. I remember
Oh,
back in
yeah,
the
I'm a
day.
lot older.
Remember what was that guy? Remember that guy Hart, Gary Hart, when he
Gary
had that
Hart,
when he
yeah.
had that lady on his boat called Monkey
Yeah,
Business, yeah?
monkey
Yeah, yeah.
business.
And there was like a lady on his lap, and just that right there got him kicked out of the race. Now dudes are
Right.
straight up like getting blowjobs, dudes just having affairs, and it's like it's not a problem. Like go ahead, like nobody, like just a whole we just dropped. Like in terms of like caring about like media accuracy, we used to care a lot more.
Mhm.
Now it's like we just have these echo chambers, just obvious propaganda. It's like what is the quality has gone down so bad. It's just straight disgust.
Um,
I'm sorry, man. I know you're a positive guy, but I'm just like,
no. That I like the reality, because it gives me balance and it keeps me realizing that every day is worth showing up.
yo, you're a fighter, man. I
And
like that.
well, see, here's my idea. You wake up in the morning and you start out with gratitude. You think of some things that you're grateful for and you create this positive attitude.
Yeah.
And then you remember your worth, that you're naturally ingrained, you're endowed with natural worth. And then from that you tie into your personal power. And then in that space, you make the choice for what you want to do for the day. I'm blessed that I have, I have the Social Security, so I have my needs met. So,
Is it really though? The payments are not that high. You in public housing?
well, I had to pare back and live a very simple life.
That's a blessing, bro.
I
I
know
prefer
it
it that
is.
way. Having so much
I
stuff,
do too.
it's a big hassle. Cleaning the Oh man, I hate that.
I know, man. It's like I'm living in my room like a 6-year-old camping out.
Well,
I
the
mean,
videos are dope, man. I think you're making them doper. You know what I mean?
you know what you're doing? I'll tell you what you're doing. You're connecting to people. You're reaching out. You're doing you're doing
Platform
the,
22, public housing, town show, more stuff.
you're doing real work. I'm doing virtual work. You're doing real work.
It's all good, man. Hey, man, thanks for showing up, though, yeah? And actually listen to a brother like me. Most people doing work behind the scenes, they want to be like some kind of super thought leaders and never listen to a guy like me, or Brian, or Theo Chin,
Oh no.
or James Zukuski. They try to make sure that we are nobodies.
No, you're my hero.
Well, that's because you like workers, man. Yeah, a lot of people say they're for the
Oh,
workers. They absolutely are not for the workers.
one of the things that gives me the greatest joy is to see somebody that's good at their job and enjoying it.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's like, mm-hmm. And
Thank you,
like
man.
today, I told the cash register lady, I said, "You're my favorite." And oh, did that make her day or what?
Why not? Let's go.
And it
You know
was
what I
the
mean?
truth. I mean, of the cashier, she's my favorite. She's got a really good attitude. And
Well, she gets to succeed at her job. You know what I mean?
well,
Yeah.
someday those
Brian's going
jobs
through it
all
rough,
need to go.
man.
Those jobs need to go away, and those people need to be doing creative things because that woman's got a lot of creativity that's being wasted. Her standing there all day
Hey, man,
making a living.
the things that are worth doing sometimes are the most difficult. I know it's tough to keep showing up and making video after video, 80 of them in a row, 2 minutes long. I mean, we're making more 1 minute videos, shorts, who knows, right? Yeah, but you know what I mean? Keep showing up, man. And
Show up and show
there's,
upness. I'm gonna
history has
work on
been
my
made.
show upness.
Yeah. One day, like, what is it, like about 20, 30 people got together and wrote the Constitution. You know what I mean? We could do whatever we want in this world. You know what I mean?
So, are you gonna share this video with me?
It's live right now, man, on my channel, DJelf7.com. It'll probably come early if you're on the cell phone because the live videos get pushed more. But I'll definitely send you the link to your email address so you have it, you know what I mean? I've interviewed many activists on my channel. Yeah. From the beginning of your journey as an activist to your position now, have you experienced any perspective changes?
Oh, yeah. I'm much less judgmental. I'm more accepting and I'm more open. You know, I started out where a lot of people are, and it's like I had my heels dug in my ideas, and by God, I'll fight you over it. So, in this process, I've learned that I might not have all this exactly right, and it's okay. It's good to listen to other people, but I will continue just to find joy in people like you. So, yeah, well, it's my joy. You know, I'm going to change saying it's my job to it's my joy.
That's all we
Change the V to a Y.
that is our job in life, right? To find joy, right? To do what we want. Doing great, man. I'm a big fan, bro. I mean, TC, that's my homie. What's up? Yeah, that's pretty much the interview. Let's say things you want to say to my viewers before we go.
I want to say thank you to whoever watches this, and I want to say thank you to anybody that comes to my channel. One of the things that I really like to do is to appreciate each person that views, and I'm hoping to become actually more friendly. I want to be connected. Well, that's a highly edited version of this, and I'm going to suggest that you actually go and look at the full interview and or ignore it all because I've worked on this for 2 days now, it seems like, and I barely got it to where it's manageable, and I'm not going to put any text or detail into it because I may not even publish it. But if you do see this, I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you down the road.